And we're back to learning JavaScript on Exercism. This time I'm going to solve this Collatz Conjecture exercise right here. In simple terms, we've got a number n. Here's the example, it's 12. If it is even, we'll divide it by 2. So in the case of 12, that's true. Therefore, we'll get 6 in the next iteration. 6 is also even. Therefore, we'll divide it by 2, we'll get 3. And 3 is odd. Now we multiply it by 3 and add 1, which will be 10. Which is even, we'll divide it by 2 is 5, and so forth. And in the end, we'll always get 1. It doesn't matter what n we've got, it will always end up at 1. The only question is how many iterations do we need. And we gotta construct this and also add an error message if we have a negative number or 0. I've used recursion to solve it. Let's look at the tests first. Here, for example, we've got 1, therefore we don't have an iteration, so 0 should be returned. And here we've got 0 is an error, a negative value should also be an error. So let's take care of this. At first we have our number n, and I've also defined a counter and initialized it. I set it to 0. We'll take care of the error test first, so n smaller or equal to 0 should throw this error right here. We can copy paste it. So these are the last two tests, and they should already run. So here we are, we've passed them, test 5 and test 6. Let's take care of the next case, which is if n equals 1. We don't have any iterations, so we can directly return 0 or our counter, which is 0. So we'll just return counter. I'll run it again, and this should help us to pass one more test. It's test 1. So 1 is given as n, and we'll return 0, which is our counter. Now let's take care of the other ones. So in the instructions, we've got this example using n equals 12. Once again, I've used recursion. So I use return, and then I call the function again, which is steps. We've got a condition. So if n remainder 2 equals 0, we have an even number. If this is the case, so question mark, we'll divide n by 2. And if this is not the case, we've got an odd number, and therefore we need 3n plus 1, which is given right here in our instructions. So 3 times n plus 1, and don't forget to add 1 to your counter for each iteration, so that our counter gets incremented. And this should be the solution if I haven't made typos. Are we good here? So maybe I'll go over this example here, test 3, just a little bit. So n equals 12. Therefore we have an even number. Our condition in code line 15 is true. Therefore we need to divide it by 2, we'll get 6. And counter gets incremented by 1. So 0 plus 1 would be 1. Second iteration, 6, once again is even, divided by 2 is 3, counter plus 1 is now 2. And now we have an odd number in our third iteration. 3 times 3 plus 1 is 10, counter is now 3. And this is exactly the example that we've got right here in our instructions. And this is why our code here works. This is how you can solve Collatz Conjecture on Exercism using JavaScript. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.